everyone, welcome back. Today's video is for anyone who is considering plastic surgery because I've learned a lot from my own experiences and I feel like I can give some tips or some lessons that I've learned. Now, some background on this video. I recently shared that I got a nose job done. This was probably within the last year. And I told everybody I would talk about my experience a little bit, but I really just want my nose to completely heal so I have like full perspective. So far, I'm really liking the result. But I'll throw out there, when I first saw my nose in my post-op appointment, I was a little bit shocked and I wasn't sure if I really loved the way I looked. And I think that's really important to point out because I think a lot of us see plastic surgery so accessible now on social media. We see plastic surgeons showing their patients just as they're about to, like remove the cast from their nose or whatever else that they had done. And they see it for the very first time in a mirror and they love the way they look. They sometimes cry and it's like this magical experience. That's not always gonna be the case. When you get plastic surgery, you have no idea what your swelling is gonna be like, what your bruising is gonna be like. You might look at yourself and think, oh my God, what did I just do? Which was, in my case, one of the things that I thought was, like, I kind of look like a monster. Why did I do this to myself? I didn't look bad. And now am I making a mistake because I'm just vain? And I wanted to try to perfect something about my face. And that was definitely something that went through my mind. The other thing that I saw was a lot of swelling. And I'm also the kind of person that really knows that you're going to swell, especially after a nose job, a rhinoplasty. If you don't know, rhinoplasty can take a year to fully see what your nose is gonna look like. But for all the swelling to completely come down, it can take anywhere between a year to 2 years. For some people, they've said even 3 years before they fully see that final result of their nose. So when I first saw my nose, I thought it looked so swollen. I also thought it looked really high, the tip of my nose. We only focused on the tip of my nose for this surgery. And I think I had this expectation that because it was only gonna be in this area, like we weren't shaving down my nose, we weren't breaking it or doing anything like that, I wasn't gonna have to be like in this cast or anything for my nose. I think in my mind, I was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be so simple that I won't look that different. But I looked so different to myself. So I actually took an entire month off of social media. You guys didn't notice because I pre-shot lots of content for social media in preparation for this. But I spent a whole month, the first month after my surgery, wondering if I had made a mistake. So I think you need to remember that when you first see yourself right after surgery, it could be very shocking and you have to give it time to be able to judge what it is your final result's gonna look like. Something to also keep in mind when you get plastic surgery, if you don't like the result within that first year of your surgery, there's a good chance that you can't do anything about it until that year has passed, because most good surgeons, unless it's something really extreme that happened with your surgery, if it's really just something aesthetic, a really good surgeon is gonna make you wait at least a year to see where your results end up and the swelling goes down to then proceed with a revision. So just keep that in mind as well. Another tip is to do your research. I say this knowing that most people think this is obvious, but these days I feel like social media has really given access to a lot more doctors in a good way and in a bad way. So what I tend to see these days is people will find a doctor, they'll see some of their favorite social media personalities go see this doctor, they'll just see what they think is the result that they want, and they'll just go to that doctor and put all of their trust into that person. So you might end up with a really good result, but you could also end up with a result that you don't love. I still think that you should do more due diligence. You should ask for before and afters of somebody that has similar features as you. So let's say you want a nose job, but you have a really small nose, or you have a nose that you feel like is very specific looking and you want to know if they can give you the results that you're looking for. You shouldn't just go off of the results that you see on their social media. You should ask them, do you have an example of someone that has a similar feature as me, similar nose as me, similar eyes, whatever it is that you're getting done, and show me what their result was, because that's going to be a better indicator for you than just what they put on social media, because social media is where they're putting out their portfolio, the best of the best results that they show. So you want to see what they can do for someone like you, because you're very specific, everything is so personal, and that result that you want might not be the same. The other thing you want to do is go see other doctors for other consultations. You want to do at least 3 consultations. And the reason for that is because you will learn a little bit more about what you're trying to get done from seeing these 3 doctors. You might see the first doctor and decide, this is the doctor, this is a person I want to see and you feel the most comfortable with. But I still advise you to see the other 2 doctors. And the reason for that is because you want to make sure that doctor really is the one. Maybe you'll see another doctor and they'll bring something up that you're like, oh my goodness, that is a good point. I still want to see this other doctor, but I should ask him about that or ask her about that. It'll just be a really good way for you to decide that you made the right decision, because every single doctor has a different aesthetic. Every single doctor has a different mindset. Just the way that they handle everything might be different. I also want to throw out there, I think that every doctor kind of has a look that they are just like a master at. This is what they do really, really well. So if you are looking at their social media and their before and afters, and you see a very common look, even if they tell you that you will not have that same look, that they can achieve what it is that you want them to achieve with whatever, your nose, your boobs, whatever, just keep in mind, their mindset is what they see and what they think looks good is right there on their social media page, right? So if you do not like their aesthetic, the overall aesthetic that you see overwhelmingly on their before and afters, then you should keep that in mind, because this is actually something that came up, and this is one of the reasons why I made this video. I saw somebody on social media post recently. She felt like she got a botched nose job from a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. And I feel really bad for her, because there's nothing worse than hating the way you look and you made that decision to go get that done. When I kind of like looked at her nose, and then I looked at all the before and afters that this doctor had on his page, which by the way, didn't look like a botched job. Like botched is, you guys, like they really messed you up. Not liking the result and it being sort of like asymmetric and stuff, that's not being botched. That's very typical of plastic surgery, right? But it really made me think that she maybe didn't see the aesthetic that I saw that was very clear to me, and I think to a lot of people, that this doctor had. And so she had said something along the lines that the doctor had told her he could achieve what she wanted to achieve. Even when a doctor tells you that, even if he means it, right? Even if his intentions are actually to give you what you want, just remember that doctor has an aesthetic that they kind of finalize at. Like they think that is the way people should look. Something else that this lady brought up that made me feel really bad, but I think is important to point out, is that when you are getting plastic surgery, it can never be perfect. I think sometimes we want to get plastic surgery to perfect ourselves, and that is the wrong way to think about plastic surgery, because prime example, a nose job. There's a good chance that you're not gonna like the size of your nostrils. You might get a slight tilt. I know so many people with nose jobs that have a slight tilt, myself included. You get a slight tilt with the tip of your nose, and it's impossible for it to be completely perfect. This is surgery. This is not, a filter that's being used on a computer to make your face look perfect. This is surgery. And so the chances of you having a perfect result is very, very slim. It's near impossible. I actually don't know any doctors, and I think this would be a red flag, that would say that they can give you the perfect result with no issues whatsoever. Every plastic surgeon that is a good plastic surgeon will tell you their limitations and also share with you some of the things that you might have to expect. And like I know when I went to go see Dr. Deere for my plastic surgery, he was like, I can't get your nose perfectly straight. My big problem was that I had a little bump that was kind of appearing right here, close to the tip of my nose, and it was making my nose really start to look like it was tilting to the side. And he was really straightforward about it. He's like, I can't make this perfectly straight. That's just all there is to it. Like we need to be realistic about what the result's gonna be, and this is plastic surgery. I'm gonna do my best. He also warned me he was gonna have to put a little bit more of like a support right here at the tip of my nose, so my nose would be a little bit higher and it might look a little larger. And that to me, I like absorbed and I said yes, and I was like, okay, I get it. And then when I saw the result, it was a little bit larger and I freaked out, I panicked. It looked too high to me. It looked like it was too big to me, and I just wasn't used to seeing myself like this, and it made me panic. I spiraled for like a good month, maybe even 2 or 3 months. It took like almost 6 months for me to really feel like I liked the direction that my nose is going, and it still has some swelling to come down. Another tip if you're considering plastic surgery is to try your doctor out. Again, the doctor I went to was Dr. Deere. You guys have seen him on this channel. I have talked about him for years. He was the person that gave me Botox for the very first time a decade ago. He knows my face really well, but I also know his demeanor. I also know how he works, and I know his aesthetic really well. I mean, so well that I have produced videos for him on this channel, and we have had rhinoplasty patients on this channel. Because I got to try him out for a little while, getting filler done, getting, Botox, any of those kinds of treatments, that really helped me get to know him, and it helped him get to know me, not just personally, but also get to know my face, which I think is really important, because a lot of the time I see people decide that they want some kind of plastic surgery. They find a doctor and they've never seen this doctor before for any other kind of, non-invasive treatment or much more simple treatment like filler or Botox or a laser treatment. And they just don't really know each other, right? And then they're surprised by the demeanor of this doctor afterwards, or they're surprised by the result, or they didn't realize that this was this doctor's aesthetic. Try your doctor out. Plastic surgery is so serious. And I think that's the point I want to finish on, is take it very seriously. Plastic surgery is no joke. It's not reversible. If you get plastic surgery, there's a chance it's going to lead to more plastic surgery. In fact, I don't know anybody, not one person, who has gotten plastic surgery and then has just been perfectly happy with it, who has no plan to get more plastic surgery or to revisit that plastic surgery later on in the future. Most plastic surgery, in my opinion, leads to more plastic surgery. So you have to take it seriously. If you're committing to plastic surgery, commit to plastic surgery, and know you might not like that final result. You might have to go get more surgery, and you might not like that result either. You're setting yourself up for potentially having more plastic surgery in your life. So don't go into this thinking that you're getting plastic surgery once and then it's all perfect from there, because it's almost never like that. And I think social media has really given everybody a very false sense of what they should expect when it comes to plastic surgery. So these are the lessons that I kind of want to leave you with. Obviously, if you have questions, ask them in the comments below. I'll probably share more over the next few months about my feelings on plastic surgery and my own personal experience and everything. But I just wanted to throw those tips out there, because I just feel like we see so many people now getting plastic surgery, and I love that they're making it more normal so that everyone knows at least that these perfect looking faces aren't necessarily just natural. But at the same time, I don't want anybody to think it's not a big deal, because it is a big deal. And even for someone like me, who has been around this for years, who has worked with the doctor who did my plastic surgery, I was still in complete shock afterwards and still second guessed if I made a good decision. So I love my nose now, and I'm so happy with where the result is going, and I wouldn't change it now, but I was totally freaking out. And I think that's something that people don't talk about enough. It could be amazing, change your life for the better, or it could be a completely terrible change for your life. So, and there are also risks. It's not 100% safe. There are always those risks. And P.S., when you walk into that doctor's office and you commit to your surgery, they make you sign away all of the issues that could happen. They say, you release us. We have shared with you that there are risks to this surgery, and you are okay with that. So keep that in mind too. That would, if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what else would scare you. So I'm not against plastic surgery, obviously. I think it's great that you can access it and it's become more normalized, but I want you to also remember it's still plastic surgery. Anyway, I don't want to drive it home too hard that plastic surgery is such a big commitment, because it is, but I do want you to ask questions if you are interested. Feel free to ask in the comments below. You can find me on social media, both on TikTok and on Instagram. I'm at Susan Yara, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.